Led Zeppelin's legendary guitarist, Jimmy Page, has opened up about a deep sense of regret, a quiet ache that comes from losing someone who once played a meaningful, if understated, role in his life. Back in the 1960s, before his name was known around the world, Jimmy Page was already a master of his craft, one of the top session guitarists in London. He worked behind the scenes at Immediate Records, weaving his guitar magic into countless hit songs while remaining content to stay out of the spotlight. But fate had other plans when the Yardbirds came calling. Joining the band during their experimental, psychedelic era, Page found himself side by side with another guitar legend, Jeff Beck. Their time together was brief but electric, a flash of brilliance that would shape rock history. When Beck eventually left the group, Page stepped forward to carry the Yardbirds' torch, working closely with rhythm guitarist Chris Dreja, a steady, creative soul who became an integral part of the band's evolution. When the Yardbirds finally came to an end, Page didn't let the flame die. He formed a new group, the New Yardbirds, which would soon transform into the monumental force known as Led Zeppelin. Among fans, a long-standing rumor suggested that Chris Dreja was once considered for the role of Led Zeppelin's bassist, a spot that eventually went to John Paul Jones. But Dreja himself dismissed that idea in a 2010 interview, saying, "I was never asked. John Paul Jones was the best bass player in Europe at that point. He was a perfect match." Instead of joining the band, Dreja turned his creative eye toward photography. Yet even from behind the camera, his connection to Led Zeppelin remained. It was Chris Dreja, Jimmy Page's old friend, who captured the now iconic photograph that appears on the back cover of Led Zeppelin's debut album, a small but lasting contribution to rock history. For that timeless image, he was paid just £15. Over the years, Page and Dreja's paths crossed from time to time. They reunited in the 1980s for the Yardbirds' Box of Frogs project, with Page contributing his signature guitar sound, and again in 2017 for the live album Yardbirds 68. Earlier this week, the music world lost Chris Dreja, and for Jimmy Page, the loss carries a note of wistful sorrow. In a heartfelt message, he shared his emotions, not just as a fellow musician, but as a friend who wished he'd had one more chance to reconnect. "I heard of the passing of musician Chris Dreja, who passionately played with the iconic Yardbirds on rhythm guitar and then the bass. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I wish I had. R.I.P. Chris,"